Today on the Topping Show, Kamal Harris comes out against deportation and for amnesty. Maricopa County says it'll need about 2 weeks to count votes for the presidential election. Kamal Harris rally erupts in Trump fanfare. Kamala workers allegedly steal mail and replace it with their campaign flyers. The UN reports that nearly 900 female athletes lost medals to men. Eminem campaigns with Obama for Kamala. Zyn demand pushes Phillip Morris stock to a new record high. Mercedes opens a battery recycling plant in Europe. And McDonald's E Coli outbreak dings the stock by nearly 5%. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, you can mount it to an AR-15. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Zyn demand pushing the stock of Phillip Morris to a record high, hitting the stratosphere. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure they sponsored like every podcaster and every comedian under the sun, because there's a couple months where that's all they talked about, this magical new substance, which is a tobacco derivative, or it's not actually tobacco, it's a tobacco product, but it's not like chewing regular tobacco, it's a little packet, and they went bananas for them, and people are buying them up left and right. Now, interestingly enough, in terms of the ownership of Zyn, which used to be a Swedish-based company, very similar, not too dissimilar to Swedish Fish, just as nutritious for you, I'm sure. Now, they were bought out by Phillip Morris International. Interestingly enough, in the US, Phillip Morris International, those sales of the Zyn, they actually count towards Altria, which is a separate publicly traded company, also headquartered in the United States. But in terms of global sales of Zyn, to my understanding, those actually fall under Phillip Morris International, which is a separate publicly traded company. And granted, both stocks are doing phenomenal. Not financial advice, but they're paying some pretty darn good dividend percentages. But in this regard, we're talking about Phillip Morris International. Altria is usually about $50 per share. Phillip Morris, bam, it's gone up to the moon, $130.90 per share. And let's go ahead and we'll pull up that stock chart right here. Now, as you can see, going up, we got, let's zoom out here. 1 year, and geez Louise, hindsight's always 2020 when it comes to investing, for sure. My bet talked about a year ago, $90.83 per share, and it shot up 44.53%. Let's see, the market cap, what is it? It says not available, but the volume is 4.56 million shares. Yeah, it peaked. Let's see here. Going up to the month is, oh yeah, past month of October, it's been about, $120 per share. And bam, we're up to 130.90 cents per share. That is phenomenally good. Because, again, those, obviously, they have those big warning signs for a reason. They're addicting beyond all belief, and a lot of people are liking them. Now, going to the actual substance of the article, this comes to us thanks to, I was about to say the good old, but let's be honest, the rudimentary CNBC, which is somehow still in business. I only partially jest. Now, specifically, this is credited to Alex Herring, who's a writer over there. He says, quote, Phillip Morris is on a growth stock again as shares hit an all-time high on Zyn demand boom. Now, here you can actually see the iconic Zyn tins, which, good marketing in terms of, again, not an endorsement, obviously it's highly addictive, it's nicotine, yada yada. But in terms of a rewards program targeting millennials and people have grown up with all these, gamification, and who didn't do like the book drives, the Scholastic, and all those things when we were kids? Zyn has this program where if you take these points, you put them, go into the internet, sign up for the portal, and we can have access to their area. We can redeem cool prizes that range anywhere from like, you actually get a Zyn sign that's, I think it's even neon. You also can get, well, I guess they discontinued it now, but you used to be able to get a Yeti. They have metal tins. They have a hodgepodge of cool, quote-unquote, collectibles they can earn points for, which, again, I can't help but think there may be an overlap of the addictions of gambling as well as tobacco products, but I think that's not an insignificant reason of why we're also seeing so much more demand for Zyn throughout the past year. Now they say, quote, the stock is once again being viewed as a growth company due to the success of Zyn oral nicotine pouches. And here they say, the pouch, I was going to say the actual tins don't look that great in terms of marketing. Need to refresh that. And they say, quote, shares of the Connecticut-based company hit 131.97 at session highs, marking a new intraday record. Now they say the stock notched an all-time closing high, saw the biggest gain since October 2008. Jeez Louise. Tuesday record comes after the company touted an eye-popping increase in shipments of Zim oral pouches, its latest milestone in the stock's breakout this year, as Wall Street catches wind of how the product has captured consumer interest. The stock saw a little action between 2013 and 2023, with investors viewing it as a dividend play in the stagnant industry, which, yeah, globally, overall, cigarette sales and traditional tobacco products are increasing. However, in the United States, which is one of the most important, lucrative markets for most products, traditional tobacco sales are actually decreasing year over year, which is why we're seeing so many of these traditional tobacco companies investing in alternatives like the Juul, the vaping, as well as these pouches. That's why they're making so much massive investments in these products, because they want to make a pivot to different nicotine things. Lord knows it won't be, who knows, by next week maybe they'll have a nicotine pen they could chew on. Not out of the realm of possibility with their portfolios. Shoot, did we just make $1 billion idea? I only partially kid. Now, they also say, quote, the number one U.S. smoke-free branded continued to be very strong underlying momentum, Chief Financial Officer Emmanuel Babu told analysts on a call. Zyn demand in the U.S. has primarily driven shipments of Phillip Morris oral products up by nearly 40% in the first 9 months of 2024 compared to the same period the year prior, which that's ridiculously good. Part of that growth is due to an easing supply constraints for the product. Shipments of Zyn cans in the U.S. rose more than 41% in the third quarter from the same time period in 2023. Phillip Morris expects Zyn shipments to, quote, match demand at some point during the fourth quarter. Now, they also built, I think this is the first actually new tobacco plant in decades. Granted, this is tobacco alternative or derivative. It's not traditional tobacco. But it's one of those things where I believe it's being built in Colorado. So they're actually building a new factory in the U.S., which, again, is pretty unprecedented given the local year sales. They say growth is also taking place internationally, with total nicotine pouch volume outside of America soaring 70%. Wow. Between the third quarters of 2023 and 2024. Zyn is now available in 30 markets after the brand's recent expansions into Greece and the Czech Republic. Phillip Morris also noted Zyn as a main driver for net revenue for the business as a whole, which, again, probably one of the best business decisions they've made in decades was that acquisition. Because, I mean, shoot, you talk to anyone who appreciates any amount of tobacco products, they love them Zyns. And shoot, I would love to see how many podcasters, how many celebrities are paying to be brand ambassadors, either directly or indirectly, because they seem to never shut up about it. And they just, everyone from Joe Rogan to the smaller podcasters, they say how great they love the product. It's ridiculous. Hard to beat black coffee in terms of just, ROIs. Pennies to make and tastes pretty darn good. If you get fancy, you can do some additives like a sugar or creamer, but shoot. Me, I'd rather just throw a couple ice cubes in and drink that up, call it a day, but I partially digress. They also say that Zyn has become a symbol of a shift among tobacco companies toward alternative traditional cigarettes. Phillip Morris announced earlier this year they would invest, here it is, $600 million to build a new production facility for Zyn in Colorado. Yeah, it looks like shares of Phillip Morris have increased 40% in 2024, which, again, is phenomenal. And they also note that Phillip Morris keeps international cigarette bonuses, which is still growing. Shares of Altria, which kept U.S. cigarette units, have struggled since, so far below their all-time reach in 2017. So, yeah, I can't help but think with shifting consumer preferences, we're going to see more and more people buying these nicotine pouches from Zyn. Now, the only question is how long will they continue to be viewed as an innovator or industry leader before you start having knockoffs or other alternatives from competitors, which, granted, that also drive down price, as competition free market frequently does. And it'll be interesting to see how much demand there is. Do people just love the brand of Zyn so much they won't buy an alternative product? Or it's 10, 20, 30% cheaper to get another product that does about the same thing. Might they shift to that in the near future? It'll be interesting to see. Let me know, have you ever, maybe it's just anecdotal, me looking on the internet and my video consumption, but do you see a lot of people, enjoying the Zyn these days? Have you ever even heard of the company? Let me know, because as always, it'll be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Mercedes opening a battery recycling plant, which makes sense as they want to shift more and more to EV to destroy their legacy. I'm only partially kidding. I still can't believe the CEO of AMG, the performance, handcrafted V8 engine division of the company, says that consumers want tech and not V8s. That's perhaps the most mentally vacuous thing he's ever said in his career, ever, of all time, I think. Now, this comes with thanks to Jennifer, and appropriately enough, in terms of the outlet, it comes from Electrek. Now, specifically, she says, quote, Mercedes-Benz opens new recycling plant that recovers 96% of battery materials, which is quite a pretty good percentage. Now, this is one of the things where, especially in Europe, Mercedes is committed to a full life, and again, the EU, a lot of the governments want a full life cycle management of the products, which, again, has been one of the biggest issues of the EVs, is they're basically disposable toys for people who have lots of money. Because again, with the current tech, could change by tomorrow. That's the magical thing about tech. With the current tech we have right now, they'll last maybe 5, 7, maybe 10 years if you're lucky. But in terms of having a car that'll last you, a quarter of a century, like a good old Honda Accord from the 90s, that's not going to happen with EVs. And one of the most expensive disposable parts of the car is the ginormous batteries. And lithium is much, much more difficult to recycle as opposed to the traditional lead acid batteries, which is so relatively easy to recycle that their whole business is built around it, such as Texas-based Interstate Batteries. Now, going to the actual article, it's a quote, Mercedes-Benz just opened Europe's first battery recycling plant using an innovative process that automaker says enables recycling rate at more than 96%, all in-house and ready to use in future Mercedes EVs. Opening in Kuppenheimen in southern Germany, the plant uses an integrated mechanical it's going to be a great Scrabble word if you play Scrabble, hydrometallurgical process that can also process so-called black mass, which Mercedes says makes it the first car maker to close that battery recycling loop with its own in-house facility. The plant, which has been testing the process for more than a year, recovers valuable and scarce raw materials such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, and the company also says it plans to use this for all their future EVs. They say that quote, you can see one of those little guys that work there. How the concept works is that the plant covers all steps in shredding battery modules to drying and processing active battery materials and sorting separated plastics, copper, aluminum, and iron in a complex multi-stage process. The downstream hydrometallurgical process is dedicated to the black mass or active materials that make up the electrodes of each battery cells. Cobalt, nickel, and lithium are extracted individually in multi-stage chemical process. By the end of the process, are ready and suitable for use in the production of new cells. It looks like, of course, they're not going to tell us the cost of this in terms of what would the ROI be in terms of how much money are you really going to spend on this plant. Well, granted, I suspect there's going to be a lot of government subsidies in this, but I do wonder, you're investing all this, how much does it cost to actually properly recycle the battery at the end of the day? You say that, quote, unlike the pyrometallurgical established in Europe today for recycling, Mercedes says is hydrometallurgical, again, great Scrabble word if you play that, process is less intense in terms of energy consumption and material waste. They're not giving me the fun statistics on how much more efficient it is. Nevertheless, they say its low process temperatures of up to 146 Fahrenheit means it consumes less energy. In addition, recycling plant operates at net carbon neutral manner, includes a 6,800 square roof meter equipped with photolithic system that peak output of 350 kilowatts. The new Mercedes-Benz capacity will be an annual capacity of 2,500 tons, which they say that the recovered material feeding into the production is more than 50,000 battery modules for all new Mercedes EV models, which I kind of wonder, are they really going to sell more than 50,000 per year? How many people really want EV sales? Remember, one of the EV models sales trapped by 40% last fiscal quarter, which, yeah, it's not great. They also know that they're partnering with a company for this called Primobis, and it's a joint venture between German plant and mechanical engineering SMS Group and Australian process technology developer Neo Metals. So unfortunately, we don't know the actual cost to this, but again, for long-term EV, life cycle management, this makes sense. People have been talking about this as being one of the Achilles heels, and people kind of critique EVs. Well, not just so they, economic, terrible, but what do we do when we have, whole just dumpsters of all these EV batteries, which again, very complex, more expensive to recycle. I really wish they would have given us the statistics in terms of how much this plant costs, what's the actual cost to recycle a single battery, or even just an average EV battery from a Mercedes, vehicle. But we'll be interested to see at the end of the day, how successful this is and how much demand there really will be for it in the future. But let me know, do you think this is a good idea for Mercedes? Do you think it'll be highly utilized? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going to the Culture Pride podcast, you have the United Nations reporting that females lost nearly 900 medals to men, which I still can't believe the United Nations did something productive or good. I'm not saying you could. No, I guess I am kind of insinuating. You could probably fit all the accomplishments of the United Nations onto a half-damp cocktail napkin you find in a bar. So you can only actually utilize half of that napkin, which actually might be generous given the number of things they've actually done good for humanity. But I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, new, a UN report on violence against women and girls revealed that more than 600 female athletes have been beaten by male competitors in women's sports. Female athletes also lost nearly 900 medals to males identifying as trans. Kamal supports this. Vote Trump to ban it. Vote wisely. And I'm a little shocked. It didn't go as viral as I thought, you might say. Got 126,000 views as well as 4.8 thousand likes. Which, yeah, we've seen, especially in the United States, you see more and more of this anecdotal evidence adding up. You see a lot of these men literally breaking women's bones when they're playing some of these sports, which is pretty viscerally disgusting that some people believe that's a good thing. And I think culturally speaking, we're going to see that maybe I'm just foolishly optimistic, but I think culturally speaking, in the United States, we're going to see more of a pendulum shift where I think at the end of the day, we do have a growing category in terms of the United States individuals identifying as trans. I suspect eventually there will be a third category of sports balls. Well, I guess pun not really intended with the balls, but nevertheless, I think most people in the U.S., and granted there are outliers like San Francisco, but I think a lot of people in the U.S. see the benefits and logics of having a separate category for men's sports, women's sports, and I think at the end of the day there will be a third, even if that is kind of incompatible with some of the trans ideologies, where they think they truly are. But I think logistics, safety, I think that will be the result at the end of the day. Now, going to some of the top comments, you have Based Electrician says, quote, there will still be females after reading that they lost nearly 900 medals to males competing in the female athletics that will stand up and say, we deserve this. I quote, getting 9 likes. Planet of Memes did respond in meme form. There you go. It's usually a 50-50 shot for that account. He says, quote, bingo, and the meme is looks like a sign a gal's holding up, says, women's sport is not a retirement plan for failed male athletes, unquote, getting 81 likes. Anti-woke memes did in fact respond with a meme, says, woke people, there's no biological advantage. It's not biological advantage, you're just being transphobic. And that is a picture of the leaps and bounds of how much more a man can jump off the, again, I'm not a swimming aficionado, they could jump off the fancy, funny-looking platform thing into the water compared to the females. There's a little picture of that. It got 76 likes. Anti-left memes also says, quote, vote Trump, so he will ban to protect women. And Trump said, there's a quote of Trump saying, quote, we will not have men playing women's sports. It will end immediately, unquote, getting 17 likes. Tyler says, easy choice. You want to protect your daughters? Vote Trump, getting 48. 49. Oh, just went up to 51 before our eyes. Like a stock market going up there. Upstairs says, the Dems have declared a war on women. Don't vote for them, getting 35 likes. Which, I think I suspect this will be an issue in the upcoming election. Appropriately enough, we actually have a little graph from Jackstron, or a little image about the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, which looks like in terms of the yays versus the nays, you have Republicans, 219 voted yay, not Kanye West, but, in terms of the affirmation of the bill. Well, Democrats, 0 of them voted yay, and 203 voted nay, which, yes, has quickly devolved into a political issue in the United States as well, which makes sense. This will become, at the end of the day, this will be solved in terms of laws and policies. That got 35 likes. Let's see. Sherry says, simply vote for Trump to keep men out of women's sports, getting 3 likes. Not too many contrarian comments. Granted, this is also, this is posted by Libs at TikTok, so granted, it's not probably going to be a 50-50 ratio in terms of people on the left versus people on the right following her on the X Twitter. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. This is one of the biggest cultural topics we've seen in the past couple of years, especially in the United States. Do you think this will be something where more and more people are going to push back? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Eminem on the campaign trail with Obama for Kamal Harris as they try to drum up some support for her, as the support for her seems to just crumble away. Now, this is going viral on the good old X Twitter. And again, there are a lot of people who love Eminem, a lot of people who love Obama. Not sure how many people love Kamal Harris, but they're out there, don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of people, saying Eminem, great job for this. A lot of people are taking him. I'm not too surprised. Eminem has been left-leaning for decades. I do wonder if he's one of those brand ambassadors getting paid $50,000 by the Kamala Harris campaign. Who knows? Or he might just be doing this to fit in, though I don't know of anyone who would be affiliated with the gangster nomenclature who would actually consider Eminem now to truly be, I believe they call him an OG after this. But I don't think so. Now, one of the first folks talking about this is Alex Cole, and he says Eminem introduced Obama, and it's pretty epic. And you can see Eminem in a rudimentary tan jacket and a tan ball cap and black jeans. He may be gangster, but his fashion is F-, or rudimentary. As we all know, men always suit up. I always like your best in suit. I have my suit. nevertheless, let's see. Let's hear the whimsical wise words of Eminem. Not the. I'm actually surprised he hasn't been sued by the Mars Bars company for the intellectual property, but he is in no way affiliated with the chocolate company. I did have to do a little research on that. Didn't know a lot about Eminem, so I had to dive into that. And he's no way affiliated with the family. He's not like a stepson of one of them or anything like that, or a long lost grandchild of them. He's, in fact, also known as Marshall, not the store Marshalls, but actually the Marshall, as a name of the person. Interestingly enough.
You lied through your teeth. For that, your feelings instead of
Detroit! What up, though? So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons.
Get paid.
As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please.
Hope for the same thing as later state to crumble for decades.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions.
That's true.
And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known.
Sounds like a Trump endorsement with all the lawfare against him and his fans. But of course it's not.
I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
I forgot. I didn't know Eminem was a stand-up comedian. He says it's important to not have retribution for your speech. Which side of the political aisle weaponized big tech and ordered them to censor folks during the pandemics and the lockdowns? Oh yes, that was the Biden-Harris administration. Right, Marshall.
And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
One man in the background beats you up. We have one who did. We have one fan who did something. Another Democrats adjusted when we won out Obama. Versus jacket. So close. He has fancy dress pants on, pretty good button-up shirt. And Obama does not have a ridiculous. And the crowd roars for 4 more years of misery. It is one of the most hilarious things in terms of Michigan. They keep voting for the thing that destroys them. And, I mean, there's a reason my I do have 1 or 2 relatives left, suburbs, obviously, not in Detroit. But yeah, one of the most hilarious jokes I tell people is when my mom escaped communism in Cuba, she went to the one place on the planet worse than communist Cuba. Southside Detroit. Now, thankfully, they all worked like hell, and they all, got into college. Well, some of them went to college for good reasons, but got some valuable degrees back when it was a good ROI back then, and they all subsequently got successful jobs and got the hell out. Which, yeah. And again, a friendly reminder, I can't believe anyone in the automobile community would ever endorse Kamal Harris. They're pushing EVs and banning the most profitable thing your companies make, the big 3, being headquartered in Michigan, being, well, now Stellantis, but used to be Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, as well as Ford and General Motors. So, yeah, and also that'll lead to less, union jobs in terms of, manual labor jobs for the cars. But yeah, they're going to keep voting that way, apparently. I also have XXL Magazine, perhaps as a fashion magazine for large folks, saying, quote, Elon Musk calls Eminem yet another Diddy party participant after Eminem introduced Barack Obama at a rally for Kamal Harris in Detroit last night. That got 1.6 thousand likes. B Free says, not trying to be funny, what happened to Eminem's eye? He looks gaunt and his eyes look droopy. Eh. Got 3. It's easy to take a screenshot, so I'm looking awkward. Lord knows that'd be half the shows, just people taking screenshots of me. That did get 337 likes. So perhaps his arms are heavy. His wait, what is it? He forgot his mom's spaghetti? Perhaps he ate too much of his mom's spaghetti. Perhaps. Let's see. Thrill the Gorilla says, Eminem endorses Kamala and appeared at Kamal Harris rally in Detroit. What's your response? 161 likes. What are the comments looking like? Jeez. A lot of people calling him a bundle of sticks. A lot of people saying Trump's going to turn Michigan red. which Charles Burns says actors and musicians live in a fantasy world. Again, a lot of people are giving him accolades because, again, a lot of Democrats who love Eminem, they love the fact that, he's got the quote-unquote star power. So I don't think he's actually going to lose any record sales. I mean, he's been this way for decades. I really debate what kind of value he's getting out of this. If the DNC is just calling it a favor, or again, maybe they're just paying him boatloads of money to get him there, or he just wants to fit in at parties. Although, again, I'm not sure any gangsters really who are endorsing Biden Harris. But let me know, do you think this is a good idea from what they call the Slim Shady, which, I mean, most people do gain, without proper exercise and diet, most people do gain weight when they do get older. He does look not so slim these days. However, I'm not sure he has to go back and rewrite that song to average Shady. Perhaps it would be more appropriate. Maybe. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Kamal Harris saying that she's against deportation and for amnesty, which, yet again, the copy-paste methodology for Democrats for decades, which, again, historically speaking, has worked for them. They keep getting elected left and right. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson on the good old X, or as 3 people now call it, Twitter. Let me know what you call it in the comment section. He says, quote, breaking, Kamal Harris comes out against deportation and says she supports amnesty for illegal aliens. Which, yep, that's probably why they let the border more open than Walmart pre-pandemic when it was open 24/7. Used to be a proper country. Now they close at 8 p.m. Really, Walmart? Shame. But nevertheless, looks like she's attempting to speak on, MSNBC. Yeah, at least the reporter did suit up, as all men should. And maybe I just love her speaking because it makes me look so eloquent in comparison. Granted, the bar is quite low for my speaking ineptitudes, but let's go ahead and see what she has to say.
Right now, we're talking about border security, and there's no Democrat talking about pathway to citizenship, and immigration relief, and the benefits that migrants bring to this country.
Oh, but there's no question that migrants bring. America is a country that was built in part by immigrants.
But people are concerned about their TPS, their DACA, we're talking about mass deportations.
I'm not talking about.
What do you stand on mass deportations? What's your stand there?
We need smart, humane immigration policy in America that includes a pathway to citizenship.
Right now,
but see that her ears are partially obstructed by her hair. You're wearing those same ginormous Volkswagen-sized earrings that suspiciously look like audio gear. Maybe. But I'm not sure. I mean, she sounded inebriated for a little minute there. What was that? Was she waiting for, was the reception not good?
But there's no question that migrants bring, America is a country that...
Migrants bring America? Well, no, America is a place that's already here. I'm not sure what she's saying for the most part. But, yep, looks like, and again, this isn't necessarily news in terms of Chuck Schumer said this a couple weeks ago in terms of, Democrat policy, but it is relatively new that she's saying the quiet part out loud. So if she wins this time, I mean, if there aren't mass deportations, many people suspect, like California, with their illegals that have come in throughout the decades, the U.S. would just be blue one party forever. Now, this didn't go as viral as I thought it would. It gave about 200,000 views and 9.4 thousand likes. One of the first comments coming from Chuck Costello saying it's ridiculous, getting 142 likes. You also say Absent Insight saying, and there it is, Trump just won over moderates, getting 138 likes, which, yeah, I think he's going to win over more and more moderates as we get closer and closer to the election. Shepard Wright says, another reason to vote for Trump, getting 61 likes. Paul Zupa says, who would vote for this other than illegals, getting 76 likes, which, well, Democrats would. But they have for decades. I mean, it's kind of a cliche at this point, but the immigration policy, quote-unquote, the United States has basically been no southern border. Every couple of years, Democrats will give up, I don't know what they give up, really, something, so the Republicans look good for a New York minute, and then they'll, they'll say, oh yeah, maybe we'll spend a little less money, and the Republicans will be happy for a second. They can tell their constituents, oh yeah, we cut the budget by 1/1000th of a percent, and in exchange, we just amnestied, millions, billions of illegals, which is unfair for a lot of people who are trying to get here legally, going through that process. Going down more and more. You have Province 76 saying we can't let Kamala win, getting 59 likes and accompanied with a picture of Trump. Malcanator says that's it. A fork in her. She's done. Getting 25 likes. Let's see here. King Global says the plan worked in California, but now it's about to be rolled out to the rest of the U.S. Not hyperbole. See, even I cannot speak articulately most of the time. That'd be a fun debate in the comments. Who has worse speaking articulation, Kamala Harris or myself, or Biden? Be a rough conversation, or it'd be a rough debate for the three of us. But in all seriousness, if you take the moment to subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. I have a theory. When I first started the show, basically no subscribers, and yet as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I've been better at speaking. Granted, the bar was quite low, but these days, I mean, when I first started, basically monotone. I was spoke even faster. Yes, that is in fact possible. And I stumbled over my words, similar to Joe Biden trying to climb up stairs. It's quite embarrassing. But as I slowly but surely gain subscribers, I've become more articulate. So if you go ahead and click that button, I greatly appreciate it. And fuel my theory that someday we'll get through an entire episode perfectly speaking. Just need enough subscribers. Click that button. And tell your enemies and tell your friends. Who knows? Your enemies might be so irate they might become even greater enemies, where I guess you can poke the bear in that regard. Or they might become your friends. You never know. Now, going back what Harding Global is, well, what he was saying, I was trying to actually articulate. He says, quote, this plan worked in California, but is now being rolled out over the rest of the U.S. It's not hyperbole. The Democrats are working on a one-party government, aka totalitarian government. Lord action, quote, power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. 1887, unquote, gained 27 likes. James Jeanette says she's now saying that it, in the open, what they have accused of being conspiracy theories for, that they want a great replacement. Gained 49 likes, which, yeah, instead of conspiracies, I like to just call them previews. Right Away Press says a great example of why Harris really does interviews, getting 75 likes, and, yeah, there's a reason they didn't let her get in front of the camera for months and months. Guns and Golf says, meanwhile, the updated electoral map has Republicans at 394, Democrats at 144, which, that's pretty optimistic. I mean, I just because the U.S. has become so politically divided, and so many people are just bugged in, like, yeah, people will vote blue no matter who, which is mentally vacuous. You should always have a good candidate that at least have something you support in terms of, articulated ideals or a proven track record of policies. Then you have a couple people on the far right who also will say, well, they don't say it to the NPR level, or the NPV, non-programmable player, non-programmable player. You know the meme. But I don't think we'll ever actually have like a landslide victory in the United States again. I mean, this map has, well, obviously, it has Republicans winning Michigan and Wisconsin, which, I mean, Michigan for decades have been blue, in spite of the fact that they really don't make the state better throughout the decades. I mean, it's not inconceivable, but it's a very optimistic map. But let me know your thoughts in the comments if you think how accurate you think this map would be. That did get 11 likes. Let's see here. You also have Ken Tech saying, tell me otherwise, I'll wait. And it's a picture of Kamala. It says, Kamala Harris is the first candidate to be entirely created by the media. She has no record of accomplishments. No one voted for her. Her popularity was in the toilet just a few months ago. Nothing has changed, except now the media is pushing her on the people nonstop. True. That got only 8 likes. Let's make it 9 likes. Deserved more than that. Because, yeah, I mean, media was even roasting her when Biden was still running for office. And as soon as they forced Biden out, yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, they tried to make her appear personable and articulate and brilliant overnight, which, yep, it's not quite working. Which I did a fun poll on the YouTube, in the community thing, and yeah, I actually asked folks, who do you think has better odds of winning? Would it be Biden or Harris? And 75, granted, it's a small sample size. I think 20 people voted, but overwhelming more 75% said they think Biden had a better chance of beating Trump than Kamala does. And after seeing her perform the past couple weeks, I can't but wonder, are some of the Democrats and the deep state worried, or are they regretting the fact that they pushed Biden out so unceremoniously? Probably. But yeah, not too many contrarian statements, and Lord knows I'm scrolling down to the bottom to see if there's any. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the day. I mean, what does the average American think in terms of? Do you think they really agree with these policies? I mean, they have not worked in decades, and I don't see how it's going to boost our economy. I mean, just national security alone, we're having literal gangs take over whole apartment complexes in Colorado, and I mean, we're starting to see that they literally allowed illegals to cross the border who are previously convicted of crimes. I mean, crimes against women, crimes against children, murder. It is ridiculous. But let me know. I mean, will this maybe get her more votes from leftists, or people are more left-leaning? Do you think that? I mean, how do you think this will affect the average independent voter? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Maricopa County saying that they'll be counting votes as long as 2 weeks, which is pretty inept. But in terms of brand affiliation, thanks to the ineptitudes of the voting in Arizona, we now know that Maricopa County does exist and is in fact located in Arizona. That's, I think, one of the few things people now know about Arizona, in addition to it being hot, which does have a couple things going for them. Now, this comes to us thanks to Nick Sorter. He says, quote, WTF, Maricopa County, Arizona is now saying it could take 10 to 13 days to tabulate the results of the election. How? What the hell is going on? And we got what is this news network here from, I believe it's ABC affiliate. Is it 12 News? And the reporter did suit up. Now, this is definitely a weird, it has to be a paid endorsement. They're using a Microsoft Surface tablet, which, let's be honest, I see about 10 of those a year in corporate America. They're pretty dark. The only thing more rare than that is a Hewlett Packard computer. Those, you don't see a lot of those in offices, but I partially jest and digress.
Very tight races here. In fact, Maricopa County is setting the stage that tabulating all these votes may not be an election night thing. It may take days.
Wow. Well, 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora explains that county leaders are asking voters for patience and to be prepared.
Tight races, high interest in the election, and a two-page ballot are leaving Maricopa County officials warning of lines on Election Day, and also warning it's going to take them 10 to 13 days to tabulate results. 2 pages and an average of 79 contests per ballot.
We are expecting heavy turnout this year, and so that's why we're really encouraging people to vote early.
2 weeks out from Election Day, and some votes are in.
More than 400,000 people have cast their ballot in Maricopa County.
That's out of an anticipated 2.1 million voter turnout this year.
We are seeing a little bit of a lag of where we were in 2020, but the last few days we've actually seen an uptick in turnout, so I am expecting that we will start approaching very close to those 2020 numbers.
What can impact the amount of results released and when? Early ballots dropped off on Election Day.
Our races will be close.
And on Election Day, lines are expected, even with an increase in vote centers and voting booths at those vote centers.
If you're going to vote on Election Day, vote in person and use that on-site tabulator so that those votes will be tabulated on that evening, as opposed to dropping off your early ballot on Election Day.
The county adding more high-speed tabulators, more election workers.
We're increasing staffing at our ballot processing as well because, again, we're handling double the number of the sheets of paper. And so we are looking to both have extra shifts, night shifts, if necessary, in ballot processing, and then in the next step that takes place in election administration, and that's through tabulation.
But tabulation expected to take time.
We do expect that it will take between 10 and 13 days to complete tabulation.
Wow. 10 to 13 days. They've had how many years to fix this? I mean, you have some states with greater populations that will be done within hours or a day. Like, it is astonishing what the public sector can or chooses not to do. Now, this went pretty well. Got 1.7 million views as well as 25,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, they're admitting that they need time to cheat, getting 827 likes. They sort of responded saying, quote, they're just spitting in our faces at this point after these clowns getting 374 likes. John says 10 to 13 days to count votes sounds more like a tactic to manipulate the outcome than a simple process. I got 2,000 likes. Nick responded saying, quote, how does Florida count 10 million votes in a single night and these clowns need 10 to 13 days? Getting 1.9 thousand likes. A good question. They have about less than half like a quarter of the votes of Florida, the entire state of Florida, yet they need 10 to 13 days. Yeah. Now they're saying they have a lot of things on their ballot. Let's be honest, in terms of the number one thing people want to know about, presidential election. I don't know. That's what I know. There's a lot of things on there, but why don't they just I mean, they should if they're smart. I mean, extremely streamline that specific metric that everyone's looking for. I also have Patrick Webb saying, quote, WDYM? Thanks to the Urban Dictionary, I'm pretty sure that means, what do you mean? He says, what do you mean, Nick? I'm pretty sure they're still counting votes from the 2020 election, getting 649 likes. Jay Pennyview says, it takes time to let them print to cheat, getting 641 likes. JD Sharp says, this explains why Charlie Kirk hasn't got his mail-in ballot yet, and what's going on with massive voter fraud in UOCVOA ballots, getting 766 likes. Nick sort of responds saying, "I'll rest a little easier knowing that Turning Point and Charlie Kirk have a massive Overwatch operation out there, getting 637 likes." Brick Suit, which is an epic Trump supporter. He quite literally has a suit not made of bricks. That would be quite heavy and inconvenient. However, he does have brick print on his suit. He says, quote, "The explanation is fairly simple. The delay is caused by the number of votes in Arizona who drop off ballots on election day, the statutory need for signature verification on the ballots, and inadequate staffing and equipment to process the number of ballots retrieved in a timely fashion." That got 91 likes. Nick Sawyer responds saying, "How many more years do they need to get their shit together?" Getting 539 likes. Yeah, quite a long time. Kyle Lee John says, "Have they ever even gotten 2020 figured out in Maricopa County?" Getting 94 likes. Let's see. Going down more and more. Mexum says, "Here's the problem. If no one goes to jail for election fraud, what incentive is there not to cheat?" Getting 193 likes. Let's see. James says, "If the Trump campaign didn't learn anything from 2020, the American people are sorely disappointed. If they don't have measures put in place to stop the steal, that will be disheartening." Getting 91 likes, which, I don't know how Stephen Crowder said he's going to live stream the whole election until there's actually a result. Lord knows how many gallons of coffee and Monster and energy drinks they're going to need for that. Because, again, I don't think we'll know the election results for weeks, maybe? It'll be the longest live stream in history. It'll be a rough one. Going down to the comment section, you have Rob Q says it takes time for them to deliver fake ballots, getting 55 likes. Which, let's see. Yeah, I'm scrolling, but I don't see too many contrarian statements here. Let's see. A couple funny memes, the white dudes for Harris. Again, this does not do anything for voter. It really doesn't do anything for voter confidence, which, geez, I can't believe that. I can't but think it's an all-time low for Democrats and Republicans. Probably Republicans a lot more, but yeah, it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see at the end of the day. How quickly can they actually tabulate everything? And then once they do, are people going to believe it on the left and the right? Both parties have sued each other. Pretty much every election since, was it Al Gore when he sued because he was complaining about Florida back in the day? I'm not sure how many people are going to be really happy with the results, or I don't know how many people are going to trust the results with the current metrics, or rather with the current procedures we have in place. But let me know. How confident are you that your vote is really going to count? And do you think there's any legitimate excuse or reason why it would take 1 to 2 weeks to actually tabulate all the votes? And do you think we need a new, different, more efficient process in those cases? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, Kamal Harris at a rally, and the people roar they want Trump. Which, funny, they never do that at Trump rallies. And, just in terms of the volume of people going to his rallies, one would think there'd be at least, one outlier there, maybe. But not so much. Now this comes to us thanks to Clown World, which he says, quote, "Laughing emoji, people at her rally started chanting Trump." It's about 43 seconds long, and let's see. Of course, she does have those massive earrings on yet again. I don't know. She has one of her necklaces on. I don't think it's a $70,000 necklace, which I believe, as the gangsters or the youth would say, that is indeed bling bling. You have a $70,000 necklace when you've never contributed anything or had a real job, been a quote-unquote public servant your whole life. Yeah, I don't know how that sits well with most American taxpayers, but I partially digress. Let's hear what she has to, see what she attempts to say.
If he is elected,
Wow, that is one of the most awkward smiles in history. That's coming from me, by the way. That's saying something. That'd be a fun question. Who has the most awkward smile? Ron DeSantis, Kamal Harris, or me? Yeah, it'd be an ugly vote.
it's all good. I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters. But
Wait. If everyone's voice matters, why did you use big tech to censor people during the pandemic when they're talking about things they were concerned about? Not just politically, but medically. Why did you literally censor Americans illegally, by the way? And yet she says, oh yeah, we care what people have to say. So many lies. I'm surprised her nose does not grow like Pinocchio, which might be a very outdated reference. I don't know if anyone has watched that Disney film. That film is so old, it was back when Disney made quality products, which is quite some time ago. It was on the VHS, which, yes, video cassettes, that is quite a while back.
But I am speaking now. I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
If you want Trump to win, keep saying that. Well, they're saying they want Trump. Well, of course they would. Of course they would keep saying that. Not the best way to combat that, Kamala. Not the best way. Now, in terms of the comments and the feedback, it got about 826,000 views and 19,000 likes. And let me know if you like those statistics. If you care, if I should keep voicing them out. Personally, I find them fascinating, but let me know because feedback more the better. One of the first comments comes from Libercat Media TM, says, "We're voting for Trump, baby." Fire emoji. Getting 205 likes. Planet of Memes did respond in meme form, or rather an AI-generated picture form, saying Kamala sucks. And there's a picture of Joe Biden holding a Trump 2024, and his hat also says Kamala sucks. Getting 170 likes, which, I mean, after they pushed out Joe Biden so unceremoniously from his presidential campaign, I can't help but think he probably has some animus towards Kamal Harris because, again, they forced him out. And that picture did get 170 likes. Oh, geez. Weavy Waney says, how many MS-13 gang members did she bust in? There's an AI-generated picture of Kamal Harris holding a sign that says MS-13 gang members for Harris, getting 356 likes, which, yep. Downside having that open border, a lot of criminals coming in. And some, I assume, are good people, as Trump would probably say. Was that the worst Trump impression you've heard? Perhaps. But the attempt was nevertheless made. Scrolling down more and more, you have Liberty Pill Memes says, did she make them leave again? This AI-generated picture of Kamala as the devil at the... Well, she actually uses candles. Interesting AI picture. Standing at a podium, it says, "You were at the wrong rally." Kamal Harris said to the Christians shouting Jesus is Lord, which, yeah, that happened, was it 2 weeks ago? Where someone actually yelled at a rally. She says, they yelled Jesus is Lord, and she responded saying you're at the wrong rally, which, again, if you're religious, if you have any faith, I can't think there's not a 0% chance you're voting Democrat, but yeah, in terms of one party standing, I mean, half their platform is abortion, or as they rebranded it as women's rights. But yeah, pretty much every religion is very much pro-life. Let's just say in terms of religious votes, she's not getting many of them. But not too surprised she said, oh yeah, you're at the wrong rally. That got 545 likes though. Scrolling down more and more. We have Liberty Pill Memes saying she is poor at handling a hostile crowd, which, yeah. You have looks like a wrinkly guy struggling, says, "I've lost everything because of the hurricane," and it's a picture, it's a cartoon. She says, "I'm speaking," getting 684 likes. But it should be Kamal saying, "I'm sending billions to other countries." Let's see. Also have Meredith versus Quincy saying, "What a huge difference." And it's a little graph, or not graph, rather, it's a little info thing that says Republican versus Democrat. Republican platform stands for free enterprise, secure borders, honest elections, real journalism, ethical judiciary, civil rights, moral standards, personal liberty. And Democrat platform stands for hating Trump. Getting 669 likes, which, yeah, I can't help but... When's the last time she actually went through an interview and said anything without referencing Trump? You certainly can't go on a campaign and say, "In the past 3 years, I've done X, Y, and Z to help American people." It'd be hilarious if a reporter or someone, an investigative journalist, would actually ask her that point blank, be like, "What is your proudest accomplishment in the past 3.5 years?" It'd be a very long, awkward, pregnant pause. Now, that little graph, or that little info did get 669 likes. A couple of AI-generated pictures of Trump at some rallies in football stadiums, sports ball stadiums. Let's see. Trump with McDonald's, which again, that was epic. That was a pretty good move on the campaign trail for Trump. And one more. Malganator says, haha, this Trump waving out the McDonald's drive-thru, and he's got pixelated glasses like a gangster, getting 20 likes. Which, yeah. Now, again, this is where I think Vivek Ramaswamy is an exceptional candidate, especially for future political positions. I mean, when people do that to Vivek at his rallies, he would actually invite him on stage and say, well, articulate why you don't like me, or what you disagree, or why do you like the other candidate? And he would seemingly pull a rabbit out of the hat in terms of combating their ideals or coming up with reasons of why they should change their opinion. It was really good. Well, though, she's definitely no Vivek. And, yeah, definitely, as youth might say, epic fail in this regard. But let me know. Do you think there'll be more of her rallies where people are, cheering for Trump? Let me know, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, yeah, Kamala Harris workers allegedly removing mail and then replacing it with Kamala Harris campaign materials, which they may very well be the definition of junk mail, which also, interestingly enough, have you ever gotten that? Granted, anecdotally speaking, I grew up in the Midwest and now in great state, or some may argue the great country of Texas, so not exactly a swing state, so perhaps there's less incentive for politicians to do those types of physical marketing, but kind of like political polling, I've never actually seen one of those flyers in your mailbox. Nevertheless, thanks to Lives of TikTok, she says, quote, received this video from a fellow in Erie, Pennsylvania. Their house cam allegedly captured 2 Kamala's Walls door knockers stealing mail from the mailbox before replacing it with their own. This needs to be investigated, which I'm sure it won't. Now, in terms of, the heck is this? Let's see. Terrible. How pathetic is this? This Kamal Harris door knocker has bright green camo. Not doing the job. I can see you quite clearly, and unfortunately, it is a sight for sore eyes. Or no, it's making my eyes sore. Something to that effect. But it's only about 23 seconds. Let's go ahead and see what they're doing over there. Does have a Kamal Harris lapel pin, which I don't think I've actually seen one of those in the real world. Just so it looks like the gentleman behind her, who also has, looks like the Kamal Harris like ID placard. It looks like they're taking the mail out and they're putting their flyer in. Which also, I would love to see the statistics on how many people actually change their political minds because of a one-pager in the mail. I'm not saying it's 0, but it is effective as a pop-up banner these days. I mean, I can't think probably very ineffective, but nevertheless, it does appear to be theft. And yeah, will they actually be held accountable? Will there be any inquiry? Probably not. Should there be? Yeah, probably be worth looking into. Now, this did go moderately viral. Got 4.2 million views as well as 59,000 likes. Going back to some of the top comments, one comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, it looks like they're switching flyers, still a federal offense, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Now, I'm a little biased for this person responding to Paul is quite handsome and brilliant. I think I'll read his comment. It's me, that's the joke. Hashtag the Topping Show and X. I say, quote, unfortunately, leftist judge investigated and found there's no wrongdoing. Game 4, let's make it 5 likes. So it's all about quality over quantity. Those are the best likes, bar none, as Trump would say. Also, Chuck Costello saying, quote, Kurt and all your people are the same heinous, getting 1.1 thousand likes. The Persistence says, I'm shocked that Kamala Doorknocker would steal mail. Social media, do your thing. CC Erie, Pennsylvania, getting 5.2 thousand likes. The V case is another one. It looks like it is an incident in Phoenix. Here. And they claim this is allegedly man delivering political flyer, steals scooter off porch. Which I can't tell if this is one of those rental scooters or not. It opens up the screen door. I'll just take this scooter. Again, I'm not a scooter aficionado. I mean, shoot, my main form of transportation is going to have 3 pedals, as always, obviously. Manual transmission is the best. So I'm not sure if this is one of those rideshare ones where, I mean, he's on his phone. I'm not sure if he's like prepaying with the app so you can rent the scooter. But also, I don't know how many of those rental scooters are on personal property as well. As youth might say, that is sus. Which, I guess that's a time saver from staying suspicious, right? Not really. But nevertheless, that got 2.1 thousand likes. Kevin Dalton says, quote, any theft or tampering with mail violates federal statutes. Specifically, 18 U.S. Code Section 1708 outlines the illegality. Again, click that subscribe button. It may very help in my speaking ineptitudes. When I first started the show, barely any subscribers, and I stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain subscribers, I become speaking slower, slightly, and been a little bit better at changing the volume. So, if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. And someday we'll go through an entire episode speaking perfectly. A tall order, a pie in the sky dream, some might say, but you have to aim high in life. Now, as I was attempting to say, Kevin Dalton said, quote, any theft or tampering with mail violates federal statutes. Specifically, 18 U.S. Code Section 1708 outlines the illegality of stealing, taking, or by fraudulently means obtaining mail from various sources such as mailboxes and post offices. That got 2.7 thousand likes. Florida 1 says simple, video turned over to the authorities, mail theft is a federal crime, fines up to $250,000, imprisonment up to 5 years in federal prison, getting 688 likes. Unfortunately, the federal government did investigate and subsequently found there was no wrongdoing. Ha, that's a joke. And also I spoke way too fast, that time on purpose. I'm a little disappointed. This profile's name is Fight with Memes, and yet they did not in fact respond in meme form. Nevertheless, this alleged Fight with Memes profile says, Democrats doing felonies again, what else is new? Getting 1.1 thousand likes. Junita Broderick says, just imagine all the shit they steal when they're not on camera, getting 3,000 likes. Let's see. Oh, jeez. David Sullivan, what is this? His pronouns are prosecute Fauci, says Kamal's bleeding at this point, as a picture of Tim Walz looking more awkward than me, which is possible, actually, in the vice president debate, where his eyes are the size of deers with the headlights. It says, not even tampon Tim can stop the bleeding. Getting 278 likes. Looks like, I mean, overall, yeah, a lot of people are irate. Not a lot of people sticking up for this alleged thief, for this alleged election interference. And yeah, in terms of, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence of this. A lot of people doing screenshots of the guy maybe stealing the scooter, allegedly stealing the scooter, saying criminals for Kamala. That one got 60 likes. And let me know in the comments. I mean, how many people do you think are realistically influenced by door flyers when it comes to political campaigns, political choices? And do you think, will there really be an investigation of this, or will it just get swept under the proverbial rug? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the business blunder of the day, you have McDonald's E. coli outbreak dings the stock about 5%, which, yes, is not good, because again, that adds up in the aggregate quite a bit. Now, it looks like McDonald's, overall, they've been doing pretty good this year, believe it or not. But yeah, that ding hurt quite a bit. Pulling up the old stock ticker here. Granted, not financial advice. By the time this video is rendered and uploaded, the stock price will change because the stock market does. The stock market does. Currently trading for $299.12 per share. Now, let's look at this graph here. Last week it was, doing around $316 per share, pretty steady, and crash. Looked like the bottomed out at $285.40 per share. Current market cap, geez Louise, $214.41 billion, dividend yield of 2.37%, which, yeah, they actually, it looks like it was a 52-week high prior to that, $317.90 per share. Granted, overall, throughout the year, still up 17%, usually long-term, 5 years, up 53%, and of all time, of course, ridiculously great, it's up 10,042%, which, yep, hindsight's always 2020 when it comes to investing, which is why I don't give financial advice on the show. Because, yep, who knows what might ding the stock, and looks like, yeah, having an E. coli outbreak, that's not great. This comes to us thanks to the OG search engine, Yahoo, in this case, finance, in which they say, quote, McDonald's stock sinks after the CDC reports E. coli outbreak linked to the quarter pounder, which, I still can't believe people pay for fast food these days, just how much, I mean, the prices got so comically expensive. To me, it's just lost all value in terms of, I mean, fast food used to be fast, convenient, and cheap. A little redundant with a couple of those, but now, I mean, it's actually more expensive than eating at a sit-down place in many instances. And shoot, I mean, just buy your own food and make it at home. You'll save so much money. It's healthier for you. I don't think I've been to McDonald's since George W. was in office, or actually prior to that. I think it was in middle school. It's been a couple decades, but yeah, I'm not too surprised it's going to stock went down a little bit. Now, specifically, this is credit to Alexandra Cannell, who's right over there. It says, quote, McDonald's stock fell about 5%. After the CDC said that they have been linked to an E. coli outbreak, with most illnesses being in Colorado and Nebraska. The other reason I'm glad to live in a great state, or some might argue the great country, TX this. Now, that being said, the distribution chain, who knows how many other states are going to be affected, because it might be just around the corner. Here you can look at looks like they have a little map here right there. Now, they say the company stock sank as much as 10% in extended trading before it went back up a little bit. CDC said, quote, this is a fast-moving outbreak investigation. Most people sick are reporting to eating the quarter pounder hamburgers from McDonald's, and investigators are working quickly to confirm the food ingredient that is specifically contaminated. Then I say, quote, the CDC said McDonald's has stopped serving using fresh slivered onions and quarter pounder beef patties in certain states while the source of the illness is confirmed. So this is little heartbreak. Oh, this is very unfortunate because someone actually passed away from this business blunder or this issue. So they say one person has died from the outbreak, the agency said, and 10 hospitalizations has been reported across 10 states. The internal memo at McDonald's shared on his website noted that the chief supply chain officer of North America, Cesar Pina, said the company is, quote, taking swift and decisive action, and noted that the initial findings from the investigation indicate that a subset of illnesses may be linked to slivered onions used in the quarter pounder and sourced by a single supplier that serves 3 distribution centers. The company said, quote, as a result, and in line with our food and safety protocols, all local restaurants have been instructed to remove this product from their supply, and we have paused distribution of all slivered onions on the impacted area. Now, they noted that McDonald's would temporarily remove the menu from restaurants in the impacted areas, included Colorado, Kansas, Utah, Wyoming, as well as portions of Idaho, Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Now, they did note that all the other items at those stores are also still on the menu if you want to eat there. Now, they have an analyst at BTIG saying, quote, while the incident appears to be more contained than others we have seen in the industry, the expansion or investigation or sustained publicity is what the higher potential on-way customer traffic. Which, yeah, and that's rough. Not great news for McDonald's, which, again, they're already under... They had some sales boosts thanks to the collaboration with Coca-Cola to get that $5 promo or the $5 meal, which isn't realistic because that could only exist because of subsidies from the marketing departments at some of their collaborator friends like Coca-Cola. So you really... I mean, it's a really great deal for the consumer, but it's not long-term business sustainable unless they make some drastic changes to their supply chain and their manufacturing or rather the assembly process. But yeah, it's very unfortunate that someone actually passed away. Obviously, don't go to these McDonald's anytime soon. I would say just play it safe. I gotta say, McDonald's not keeping your standards high, and certainly Ray Kroc is rolling in his grave with all the issues they've had lately. But yeah, gotta say, I mean, just ramp up the quality assurance even more. Letting this slip through is terrible. Obviously, someone's life has been lost. Gotta say, McDonald's, this outbreak and this issue with their supply chain is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.